Right. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Yumbya. Of course, great task you have, managing the Medical Practitioners and Dentists Board. But it's important for you to, first of all, take us back memory lane of how your life was, like childhood. How did you grow up, to be who you are today?
Eugene, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I was born on 30th January 1960. My father was a coffee farmer, I would say a peasant, mkulima mdogo. And I must say that I'm what I am because of the upbringing. My father was a trustee, an elder in a local church. And having been brought up in a church environment, when I was born, I'm given to understand I was dedicated. And on the dedication, I was subjected to going to Sunday school. Initially, I didn't know what I was doing because I would accompany my older brothers and sisters to church. And it looked like, because we border a church and a shrine. So I was basically going to church for fear of the evil spirits as a small boy.
Right.
Because my brothers made me understand that I can only hide in church where the spirits cannot get me.
Right.
That is that. Born in a family of 12, my mother got 9 sons and three daughters. One passed on, 2 passed on a bit early, at early stage. One early, and the other one passed on when she was an adult. And having been born in a family where there was apparently nobody on salary, we depended on farming coffee and vegetables. My mother was a vegetable farmer, so that she could supplement the farm income. And coffee would be paid for twice per year. But the most memorable period when coffee was paid for was towards Christmas. It would be done sometimes first week or second week of December. And that I would really look forward to eating chapati, because I would never eat chapati unless it is either Christmas or coffee has been paid for.
Has been paid for.
And coffee used to be paid twice per year.
Right.
So I would basically take chapati 3 times per year.
Right.
Now, in a family of 12, plus the parents, and the chicken is slaughtered.
1 chicken.
And I'm the 4th.
Yeah.
And this is got to be done sparingly. What piece do you think I would end up getting from the chicken? We are 12. You imagine some meat will also disappear in the kitchen.
Right.
So it's coming to the table.
Yeah.
What piece would you guess I would get? I'm asking you a question. So
you had to go through all this.
Since you do not seem to realize the piece I got, it was the last the hoofs of a chicken.
Yes. That was the piece you used to get.
That was the piece of chicken that I used to get. That is the starting point. And I told myself as a small boy, when I grow up, I'll one day eat a full chicken. Where I'll get the money from is not clear. But I worked towards eating a whole chicken.
To compensate for all this pain you had to go through.
Exactly. Now, in my primary school, I had to work before going to school. My father, and I owe much to him, was a very strict disciplinarian. So he believed in us doing hard work, practicals in the shamba, in the garden in the morning before going to school. So you can imagine every day going to the shamba at 5:30 in the morning with the
oxen, yes,
so that you can see, and you have a portion in the coffee plantation to dig, and that was done every day go to the shamba before you can shower and go to school. But my most painful experience is not going to the shamba because I got used to it. I would never go to school in the month of May and June and July when coffee is being harvested on every Tuesday.
Why?
Because I would have to go and harvest coffee. This is now another point. My father would never ask for my permission. I was expected to go to the shamba and start harvesting coffee. And of course, take it to the factory. Sometimes you go to the factory at 7 o'clock in the night, and then you come out, because there are many farmers, come out in the morning at around 4, around 3. But I do remember this particular day when I didn't go to school on a Tuesday. We harvested coffee, took it to the factory, and we were not through until 6 a.m. My father would wait for the sleep. How many kilograms? So that is where our fees
Came from. Yes. And the money to buy the chicken, of course.
That is what. Now, on taking the sleep to Mzee, then it was 6 from factory, it's now 7 o'clock. I've got to school. So I basically, of course, I wouldn't bathe at home. Bathing was on the river. So as I go to the stream, so I changed my clothes and I went to the river. Of course, I bathed a bit. I was in school by 7:30. And we went to the school, the motions, and we got to class. I will never forget that teacher. He was Musembi. He was teaching mathematics. And having stayed throughout the night, it was 10 o'clock, I dozed. This man was a bully. He was big. This guy came and lifted me using my thigh. And the worst thing is that he accused me of having gone to the traditional dance.
And that was why you were dozing in class. This is what he said.
I remember that. I feel like shedding tears because that was the second driving force. This man beat me like a rabbit. He injured my thigh. I think I wish it was today. I would still take him to court. And they sent me home to come with my father. My father refused to go to school. He told my father, I've been told you go and explain that I was harvesting coffee. He told me, tell the teacher that if you don't harvest coffee, you will not go to school. Therefore, that is his own business. You can still go to the shamba. My father took a hard stand. The teacher took a hard stand. For a week, I couldn't go to school. I suffered. Then I made another resolution. I've got to work hard.
Right.
And one day, I'll become a teacher.
Right.
And one day, I'll be somebody somewhere. That's my upbringing.
Did you have this vengeance? You know, when you become a teacher, you'd also...
No, I was not thinking of wages. Actually, I was looking at becoming a teacher. My vision was to become a teacher and a headmaster for that matter, and becoming an administrator. Those were my visions. Or a lawyer and become a magistrate so that I can administer justice. Because I felt I was unjust. They were unjust to me, they were unfair to me. Nobody listened to me. And particularly for being accused of sleeping in class because I went out and I was working at disco. And my father didn't want to come to my side. It was my mother apparently who eventually took me to school. She talked to the head teacher and eventually they allowed me to school, but after suffering for a long time.
Right.
So I made a decision. And fortunately, that was the starting point. From that term, I used to become number 3, number 4, number 5. I never became number 2 again, particularly for the mathematics. I just wanted to do mathematics the way I should do. And I became good. I went to Form 1 in a day school, Boys Secondary School, and it was a day school, and I was scared of being molested because the 70s, being molested was a big thing. So my father took me to a church. I was taken care of by a pastor Lewa who took me to the church where I would sleep and go to school because I feared the boys because it was far from home. And then later on, of course, I knew after Form 2, then I went to the nearest hostels. I became a class monitor in Form 1. I became a prefect in Form 2. And I became a school captain in Form 3. And I never went back.
You never looked back?
No. From there, I was a school captain Form 3 and Form 4. I left Muka Boys as a very successful school captain. And went for A-levels in Kilungu Day High School.
Right. Tell me a bit about the process of being the school captain, because in most schools, these are those hated ones. You know, they're the ones who don't want the others to have fun in school. How was it like for you?
For me, whenever, I don't know the process the teachers used to appoint me a class monitor. But I think I was neat. Remember, I was bathing in the river. And I said, whenever I will see water, I will bathe proper. I was a neat boy from the word go. Neat hair, neat nails, neat uniform. I was literally neat in class. And I was when we were given those lockers, I would put the textbook on one side, the exercise books on the other. The pencil stays there, and the other boys knew that I have arranged my desk in a manner that you do not interfere. When I begin to read in the morning, I think you don't move anything that I put in one place. And I think that is something I even have to today.
Yeah.
Even in my office, you don't move a thing until we have agreed. I like things in a certain order. So when they picked me as a prefect, again, I have a basis of a Christian basis. I was faithful and just to everybody. And I think the boys just liked the way I was handling. I was fair to everybody. Remember the teacher who accused me unfairly. So I felt this is something that everybody needs to get fair justice.
Justice, yes.
So based on that, the issue of the prefect, the way the teachers choose was automatic. But when it came to the captain, I was told by my class teacher then, Mr. Gashero, there was a big debate that they said they wanted the deputy headmaster was born again. And I was bordering on being born again and being a firm Christian. You see, this is the time the revival movement had started.
Right.
And being a Protestant and having come from the African Brotherhood Church, an indigenous church with its own practices, I practiced that faith. And this other guy was, the deputy was wavering. But the headmaster said that it looks like Munyao Daniel Yumbya seems to be level-minded. He seems to get along well with the students, and I think if we make him a school captain, we shall have gotten all the students on our side. I think they were looking at somebody to bridge the gap. Yes. And that is it. Yeah. And I got in there.
Right.
I was a powerful school captain. Let me tell you that, because the final year, I think I got a bursary. The school paid for my school fees because of exemplary leadership qualities that they felt I was doing more than a student could do. When I went for my A-levels, by the way, and I loved Christian CRE, this religion, and Kiswahili, and English, and literature for that matter. So I went for A-levels, and I did CRE, I did economics, and I did CRE, economics, and Kiswahili.
Right.
Now, after that, I did my bachelor in education. I became a teacher, the teacher that I wanted.
So you achieved one of your goals, one of your dreams.
And fortunately, when I graduated, there was a chance in a school which is near home. The then member of parliament requested the Teacher Service Commission to post me because it was being headed by somebody from the person who headed the institution was not qualified to head the institution. So he requested as a support. By the time my posting was being processed, another headmaster had moved from another school to go there. So we arrived at the same time. I want to be a headmaster, he also wanted to be a headmaster. But since he had qualified a few years ahead of me, he said, I think we better agree. I said, you are my senior, you become the head, I become the deputy. So from college, I became a deputy head teacher. So you see now, the deputy head teacher is in charge of discipline. And that's what I did.
What you wanted.
So I disciplined students. But my discipline was not like Carl Peters, Musembi. It was by consensus.
How would you do that? You know, because consensus is another issue where
that, we agree.
Difficult to agree.
You don't have a shirt hanging. We don't meet. So if you have a shirt hanging, we meet. We just deal with each other there on the spot.
How was that dealing with each other? How did you used to do it?
That time, caning was not controlled.
So it was caning. Tara. Yes.
You are supposed to come to school at this time, and you have not come. Then I come at the gate and you are there. We sort each other as we get in. During prep time, I put on a pair of uniform.
Yeah.
And because of my stature, I was not big, I was not what. So with the school uniform, I get in. Inside the dorm, get all the information, get what is happening. So I used to sneak to the students' dorms.
As a deputy headmaster?
As a deputy headmaster to access information.
Get the 411.
Get the 411. And I used to get the 411 proper. So when I'm punishing somebody, I would tell them.
What would they say? What would they say? What would they say?
They nicknamed me, one, I was very good in Kiswahili. And they nicknamed me Kanyerele, mtoto wa Nyerere. Kwa sababu Kiswahili nilikuwa naongea vizuri sana. Si wakati huu ambapo ninachanganya ngeli.
Sheng.
No, Sheng siongei mimi, lakini ninachanganya ngeli. So that was a nickname, but apparently when they realized I was part of them and I would eat with the students their meals, I'm a disciplinarian, but still they are darling. We go for sports, and it's like when they win, the person they want to carry in the field is me.
Yeah.
It's like not the player.
Right.
That was teaching.
Right.
Now my life changed.
But before we get to the changing of your life, do people today, when they meet you, tell you that you look like Magufuli?
I've never been told so.
They've never told you that. Because when you tell me about this discipline and being their darling, it's sort of the style.
The only thing that people have told me, I went to Moscow at some point with Prof. Magua, and some students at the Red Square wanted to take photos with me, quite a number of them.
Yes.
And they looked like they wanted to take. Then I asked the ambassador, the High Commissioner in Moscow, to ask them why. They said I look like Zuma. I don't know how. At the end of the day, we took photos. Anyway, now the issue of discipline and school teaching changed. In 1990, during the multi-party elections in Kenya, I was identified by the party that was ruling to support the former Chief of General Staff, retired General Mulinge, who had retired from government service as a Chief of General Staff. And apparently Moi wanted him in politics. How they identified me, I don't know. But I was called for a meeting. I don't know, I don't want to say where. And I was told that my days in teaching are numbered.
So you want to be given another task now? Basically
in teaching, I had become in charge of sports for the district, for the region. When we go to heads meetings, I have responsibilities. So I think I had some influence in the teaching fraternity. I had hit some very good rapport with the teachers. Besides, I am very much entrenched in the leadership of the Africa Brotherhood Church, a church which is very strong in Ukambani. I think those may be the factors they identified. So I was told that I need to come and assist in mobilizing a campaign strategy for that retired Chief of General Staff. And I got in, and I was still in the service, but they said mine is strategy, not to go to the public meetings, but I was the one driving the process.
Super.
General Mulinge won the elections, not go to the details of 1992 elections.
Yes.
And he was appointed Minister for Lands. Now, they had to fast track my process. One, I had to be appointed a district officer, for that matter. I became a DO.
So from teaching?
I was appointed a district officer.
Yes.
I never went to the field. I was appointed a DO and then sent to the general, attached to him as his personal assistant. That was the beginning of change in my life.
Right. We will take a short break on that note, and then when we come back, we talk more about this change and the chicken, if you finally ever ate it. Okay, stay with us. Thank you so much for being with us. This is Meet the CEO. We are meeting the CEO of the Medical Practitioners and Dentists Board right here on the program. Stay with us. We're back in a moment.